Yeah, we're off. Oh, wait. Thursday, the 9th. 9th of March, 2023. I just did a video on 7th. I won't be loading this up tonight, but I thought I better make it, because things have cropped into my mind. It's probably going to be one of the longest videos I've ever done, because a couple of things I want to show you. One is a podcast, which I've got loaded up on screen. Might take me a few minutes because it'll shut down automatically, fetch it back up as we go along. But anyway, let's start from the beginning. Right. Now, some of you will stop along with me on this podcast, and some of you won't. I'll lose you very early or in between. I've got no problem with that. The ones who last the video out might understand what I'm trying to say to you. People, humanity, as it were, from my own perspective, as it is, Them who know me, there's many things in my life. I've got any regrets, no. Right. For the last 3 years I've been telling you about the virologies, unkum bunkum malunkum, made up science, it's garbage, none of it makes any sense, none of it rings true. There's not one bit of evidence on it. So I'll show you a podcast, with Dr. Sam Bailey, New Zealand, not just there, Dr. Cowan, Copeland, all them, they're all saying the same thing. But I'm talking on the 9th, aren't I? Of March 23. I've been saying what they're now thinking for a very long time. Viruses. You can't prove a virus exists. You talk unkum bunkum nunkum. But before I come back to that, right? So I've done a couple of podcasts, haven't I? On turmeric milk. And you'll see golden milk. You'll see loads of videos on that, won't you? I'm just telling you from my own experience, the only thing I've ever experienced of it, whether it does my body good or not, and that is, it puts your body in a nice, relaxing state. So when they tell me it can help with sleep, I believe that, yeah. If you suffer with sleep. But one video you've never ever seen, you can't find it on YouTube, there's only one video what tells you about kelp milk. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. That video will be Alan Lister's. Nobody's ever done a video on that, because nobody's ever done it but me. Well, the strange thing happened today. As I said to Leigh, right here, and in the last video, kelp milk. I couldn't care where you search it, you won't find it. You only find it on me. I was the first person to do it. Right. Well, anyway, called this morning, out of the blue, called. He went, "Mate, I had a great sleep last night." I said, "Did you?" He went, "Yeah." "You took your kelp?" He went, "Yeah." That's the second day running that. I said, "Yeah." I said, "How were you weak like?" He went, "I only got up twice." Right, and you know me. He said, "Last time I got up, we were about 5:30, 4:45. Right, once I'm up, I'm up." I said, "Yeah, I understand that." He went, "I went back to bed. I had a good nice sleep I had. And when I went for a wee, I went for one." Right. I said, "Good, don't forget what I told you though. Keep taking it for a fortnight. Let's get rid of all the boogie parasites, or whatever you want to call them. They ain't fucking viruses," which I'm about to show you in a bit. But I thought, well, I better do this podcast while it's all fresh in my head, and I've got to say this, right? So, you'll either be with me or you won't be with me. I've talked about it many times. You know, my DMT experience, it's lasting forever. All the things it showed me, it's true. It's true. Everything keeps popping up. What it showed me is true. You know, verifying the truth. And by the way, like I said, you'll never find a video on turmeric milk, only mine, right? Nobody's ever done it before, but I've done it. But I'm going to make another one tonight. I'm not going to do it on this because it's going to be a long podcast, this. Right. I hope you stuck with me. Right. You know, older people, right? Let's say dementia. So we've had the turmeric, haven't we? You know what I mean? Putting the body in a relaxing state. We've had the kelp. All this will come round in a big circle from my ingredients I told you a few years back, right? But now we're doing them individual, right? We are protein, you know, called milk. So now we've had the kelp, haven't we? And tonight I'm going to do silicon in milk. Why silicon? Well, hypothetically then, I don't know if it's true or false, but hypothetically, let's say dementia, Parkinson's, or all that. Let's say it is derived from heavy metals, you know, aluminum. Let's say it is. We don't know. Well, there's lots of research saying it is, and there's lots of would deny it, but regardless, heavy metals. I can't remember the guy's name, English kid, doctor, obviously debunked years back when I saw him, years back, you know. I was already into silicon. I come across this guy, doctor, PhD, whatever he had, saying how to detox from heavy metals. I'm going to turn the screen back on, I'm going to play it in a minute. It'll take about 15 minutes of your time up, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, it's off. I was just alter there. Yeah. So, silica milk, people for running, right? I get my silica, which I've told you many times, from bamboo powder, right? So, you people out there who's following me, you tried the turmeric, you tried the kelp, now you do silicon, right? And detox, you can do it over a fortnight, and then just drop it down to once a week or whatever you want, right? And detox the metal materials within your body you pick up every day, you know, through life, as it were. So you've gone through life 3 stages, and you know, turmeric, however you think it is, to relax the body, as far as I'm concerned. Detox of boogie woogie parasite shite, kelp. Now you need to detox from heavy metal minerals, you know, silicon. So I'll be doing that tonight. So what I'm going to do, you know, I've always believed virology is a load of bunkum junkum made up science. It's not even science, it's just junkum. And you got PhDs and God knows what else in virology. And they're all the same. Honest to God. The old DMT told me, Einstein won't last 2 minutes in the air. You get out of here. It's bunkum junkum. Right? So you're going to see a lot of list of names, a lot of quotes in this video, which I'm going to show you. So, you know what I'm saying is real, right? So, I don't know, how many years ago? You know sweet videos. 3 years ago, told you virology's bunkum junkum. There is no fucking virus. There never has been, never will be. Nobody can prove it. Now, people around the world, PhDs and doctors, are asking the same questions. I'm going to play it, show it you, and then I'll come back, okay? Let's go.
In early
I've got to turn it round now.
The COVID-19 production alerted us that something was badly wrong with virology. Our instincts led us to go beyond our medical textbooks and establishment microbiology training, and we were soon immersed in the second English edition of Virus Mania. The book shocked us. Virology wasn't just a bit dodgy, it was fraudulent. Pathogenic viruses were invented boogeymen that have never been shown to exist in scientific experiments, let alone cause disease. Virus Mania led us to the work of the Perth Group and their detailed scholarship in essays such as HIV, a virus like no other, showed us that the no virus arguments had not only been put forward decades earlier, but were very advanced. To us, the question became, why have we never seen this before? And the inspiration to start our own work into the virus existence issue, as well as going wider into the flawed germ theory and allopathic medical models. In 2020, my online platforms grew quickly, as did those of Tom Cowan and Andy Kaufman. Across the ditch, as we say in New Zealand, Tom Barnett also called out the fraud in 2020 in Australia. Seasoned campaigners such as Kevin Corbett, David Crowe, Jim West and Amanda Vollmer found a resurgence in interest in their work questioning viruses. Meanwhile, Mike Stone's pent-up issues with germ theory and so-called viruses came flooding out in the Virology website. Christine Massey paused her fluoride work and began publishing the FOIA requests revealing that no institution in the world had isolated SARS-CoV-2 or any other, quote, virus for that matter. Steve Falconer of Spacebusters pivoted his channel in 2020, and his videos calling out the COVID fraud and contagion myth gained millions of views. Documentary maker Mike Wallach had known for years that much of allopathic medicine was fraudulent and produced the massive Viral Delusion series in the middle of the scamdemic. Mark decided to write a fully referenced, formal refutation of the entire virus model and published the 29,000-word essay, A Farewell to Virology. These examples show we are spoilt for choice in the English-speaking world, but there are, of course, other prominent members around the world. In Germany, we have the incomparable Dr. Stefan Lanker, the trained virologist who worked out in the 1990s that there were no pathogenic viruses. Also in Germany are my original inspirations, Torsten Engelbrecht and Dr. Klaus Kuhnlein, the first person to be interviewed on the Dr. Sam Bailey channel. I was honoured when they asked me to become part of the Virus Mania team in 2020. Then in Italy, we have the fourth Virus Mania co-author, the one and only Stefano Scolio. In the Spanish-speaking world, La Quinta Columna have been at the forefront of investigating the contents of the COVID-19 vaccines, and as far as I know, also take the no-virus position. When the Settling the Virus debate statement was launched in July 2022, we had an international alliance of doctors and scientists. For most of our audience, three of the lesser-known names were likely to be Mufassil Dingaka, Jitendra Banjara, and Sachin Pithkar. These are our friends from India, and they have been doing an incredible amount of work with their team to show to India and the world that the Emperor has no virus when it comes to COVID-19 or any other alleged viral disease. They have collected hundreds of pages of documents with responses from so-called health institutions and politicians in India. They have documented the uncontrolled and unscientific experiments related to alleged virus isolation, electron microscopy, and genome sequencing, starting with Van Woo's infamous 2020 paper. They have pointed out that the PCR was not clinically validated and couldn't be in any case because of the failed virological science upstream from the test. They have even pointed out the financial fraud with the government of India taking out a loan of $1 billion on the 2nd of April 2020 in the name of the pandemic, placing a further burden on Indian citizens. Not only this, but the public purse has been used to fund the necessary medical drugs and vaccines and run marketing campaigns of fear. They have pointed out that cases of COVID-19 are defined by preposterous circular reasoning due to its non-specific symptoms and flawed testing kits. Of major concern to the team has been the suppression of natural therapies for illnesses. I love the way they reject the allopathic medical system and state, a serious issue is, if any disease symptom cannot be cured by allopathy, or the alternative medical system, it is declared an incurable disease symptom, or epidemic or pandemic, by ignoring the other mainstream medicinal symptoms such as Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathy, homeopathy, Unani, Siddha, etc. at the outset. I think we should all take up this approach and describe Rockefeller imposter medicine as alternative rather than true medicine. Much of the overall strategy from our Indian colleagues has been to focus on the legal aspects of COVID-19 in their country. For example, under the Indian Evidence Act 1872, the burden of proof is on the government to establish the existence of the alleged SARS-CoV-2 virus in human samples and its pathogenicity with that sample. It has become clear that, like virologists around the world, the Indian medical authorities cannot deliver the evidence with any papers that follow the scientific method. The conclusion from our Indian colleagues in their politely worded statement: this is nothing but a serious medical experiment which is likely a crime against humanity, and this act clearly shows that health authorities may have no intention of public health and welfare of citizens of India. And while the highest level institution, the Indian Council of Medical Research, claimed they have proof of existence of SARS-CoV-2, they have yet to provide any document to back this up. Hence, a demand letter is now being sent to them, as well as the National Institute of Virology and various politicians. It calls on them to provide a public demonstration showing the existence of a virus. They've even opened it up further and have suggested that the demonstration could involve providing the evidence for any alleged disease-causing microbe. So here is how their demand letter reads. Subject: demand to prove the existence of the alleged SARS-CoV-2 virus or disease-causing virus. In other words, to prove that the alleged SARS-CoV-2 and the alleged variants or disease-causing viruses are real physical entities that is supported with real-time research via public demonstration and peer-reviewed scientific papers. Additionally, to prove that there was a real scientific basis behind this COVID-19 pandemic. Dear public servant, at the outset, we are very disheartened and unsatisfied with your response. We are referring herewith to your response, which lacks sincerity and shows great negligence, disrespect towards the public. Moreover, it also lacks rationality and scientificity. Your unsatisfactory response. If you diligently read our open legal notice, you would have noticed that we asked you for valid scientific experimental research, papers, records, documents to prove the existence of alleged SARS-CoV-2 or disease-causing viruses. However, the scientific research papers that you provided against the RTIs and our correspondences failed to prove the existence of any disease-causing virus, including the alleged SARS-CoV-2 virus or its variants, that we showed in our open legal notice, based on scientific principles, methods, and rationality. Furthermore, without providing any valid scientific papers, records, documents to prove your claim, i.e. existence of any disease-causing virus and or the alleged SARS-CoV-2 virus, you have given a poor logical reply. This, to our surprise, was a kind of response never expected from an esteemed scientific institution such as yours. Therefore, we are now obligated to mandate scientific, rational, and clear-cut answers to our questions. Therefore, unless you can provide us with a valid scientific proof and or research papers to prove the existence of the alleged SARS-CoV-2 or its alleged variants, we demand an explicit statement mentioning that you do not have any such evidence, as you clearly mentioned that you do not have any scientific evidence for disease-causing germs, i.e. disease-causing bacteria, fungi, protozoa, parasites, or any kind of disease-causing microorganism against the RTI attached. 1. Your reply failed the scientific temperament. As per our present observation, experience, and doubt, the absence of valid scientific evidence and the lack of submission of proper science principles, methods, and the research work of virology show that, through imagination, theory, and fear-generating tools like the PPE kit, as well as masks and heavy sophisticated machineries, tools, etc., an atmosphere has been created by the virologists, fabricating an imaginary entity to be a real one for others. Virologists are the victim of a misconception. i.e. existence of disease-causing virus, which has been conceived by them and is further spread, propagated by the medical doctors, professionals across the society and public. As a result, people are now suffering from the fear of an imaginary entity. This misconception has been made the basis of almost all the alleged epidemic and pandemics since hundreds of years. The truth revealed through proper scientific investigation has never been done yet. Also, after interacting with various scientists, experts from over the world, their statements further clarified that existence of disease-causing virus is a misconception. For instance, when cells die, they are broken down into submicroscopic particles, some of which virologists arbitrarily label viruses, and anyone who closely analyses what virologists actually do in the laboratory to prove that these particles they call viruses cause disease will easily see the absurdity of their conclusions. Dr. Stefan Lenker, virologist. COVID-19, the virus does not exist. It is confirmed. Dr. Saeed A. Qureshi, PhD. Secondly, regarding the PCR-RT-PCR, we already showed in our open legal notice why and how the test is totally irrelevant for the purpose, and it's a misuse of this test that is being used for the alleged COVID-19 pandemic purpose. However, you could not clarify our inquiry in your response. Additionally, we also present herewith excerpts of the laboratory experiment conducted by Dr. Biswaroop Roy Chaudhry and his team to validate the government-approved RT-PCR test for COVID-19. Excerpts. Recently, from June 15th to the 17th, 2022, I and my medical team conducted an experiment wherein we took some fruits, some vegetables, and some animals like rabbit and dog, and a few birds like chicken and pigeon. We collected samples of each of them and went to a government-authorised COVID test laboratory to run them through the test to understand which of the samples are COVID positive and which of them are COVID negative. Dr. Biswaroop Roy Chaudhry demonstrated and explained the invalid and irrelevant usage of RT-PCR test kit to detect the unclear nucleic acid and proved that the RT-PCR testing is non-specific for the purpose of diagnosis. Now it is your responsibility to prove your claim via practical demonstration. You have claimed in your response that you can prove practically the existence of the alleged SARS-CoV-2 virus or disease-causing viruses. Therefore, we are eager to participate and witness your practical demonstration, as it is the only way to prove your claim. If you claim the existence of the disease-causing germ microbes, we demand to prove your claim via practical demonstration by providing us with the below date, time and schedule of your practical experimental demonstration, name and location of the laboratory, including wet and dry lab, names of the virologist scientist committee who will perform and participate in the demonstration. Please mention all details of the procedures, steps that you will perform and demonstrate during the practical demonstration. So, there you have it. Rest assured that the no virus arguments are being advanced in many countries around the world, including by our friends in India. Keep the conversation going in the comments, and if you know of other individuals or teams around the world that are doing this work, then let us know. One of the best things to come out of the pandemic was linking up with people around the world to make new alliances and often friendships. Let's see if waking more of the world up to the virus fraud might bring even more of us together.
Well, that's what I'm doing, holding it. But you see where I'm coming from? So when I said all them couple of years ago, right, virology is made up bunkum, junkum, dunkum. Now we've got, you've seen all the list of doctors and everything else, you know, Cowan, Copeland, rest of them, Bailey lot, right? They're miles behind me, aren't they? You know what I mean? That's today, just today, I've been saying it for the last 3 years. Listen, what is this fucking nonsense about viruses? Nobody's isolated one, purified one, or fucking demonstrated it causes the disease. Right? fucking particles. Really? What a load of fucking bungle. Wake up, people. Yeah, anyway, get back. That's just to prove that, you know, some people, what I've said to him, past, you know, fucking virus, prove there's a virus. You know, they go, oh, yeah, you fucking man, doctors and everybody said you got virus. So I went, because the fucking imbeciles, that's why. Yeah, you got fucking doctors all around fucking world saying the same thing as I was saying all that time ago, you know, they're starting to wake up. Well, none of it makes any fucking sense. Nobody's ever proved any of it. Not one fucking iota of it, you barmy bastards. You know? What I learned from fucking DMT is this. And you're struggling with it. Mindlessness. Sometimes don't think. Just be conscious. How do I say that properly so you understand me? Your mind's playing havoc with you, right? It's the be-all, it's the end-all. Oh no. What I learned is this. This mindlessness, consciousness. Without mind, no thinking. The I being we self, being conscious, being aware what's happening around it and what they tell you. I've told you many times, your medical industry were well taken over by them fucking Rockefellers and Rothschild nonsenses. Seriously. Get back to basics. Treat yourself. Told you Lenny's feeling better after 2 days. I've told him to keep it up. Debugify parasitic fucking shite in your body. You know, with kelp. The only video you see on kelp milk is mine. And the only video you'll ever see on fucking silicon milk is mine. Everything's about detoxing the body, you know. You live in the body, you're trapped in the body, I don't know. You're in the body. It's consciousness is in the body, right? It's not fucking mind, it's not body. It's just consciousness, you know, be whatever you want to call it, spiritual. I don't really care what you want to call it, but that's what it is, right? Don't be frightened of anything, you know. What I've told you, don't be frightened of death or all that, you know. It's just consciousness. You just transform from one thing to another end of the day, and that's it. You fetch note in, you take note out. You know, get real. Actually, it's not as long as I thought it was going to be, even though I showed you that. So I'm going to put some tea on, and then I'm going to make a silica milk while I go to bed. Yeah. And tomorrow's another day. You know. Don't forget, I do it ritually, where I fail. Wake up in the morning and just ask what sort of day you want. And that's the sort of day you'll have. I couldn't get a fuck with it, believe it or not. As far as I'm concerned, it's true. I do it every day. Yeah. Just be happy with yourself, whatever comes along, you know. Don't think about things too much. If you can, don't think about fuck all anyway. Just be blank sometimes, staring at the floor. You're just blank, you're just consciousness. You know? And you calm down, don't you? You know, stress, definitely taking people over. Anyway, going back to use all this, I don't know. I'm just telling you, right? Can it help with Parkinson's, dementia? You know what I mean? Says the milk. Why not try it? See what happens. Okay, now I'm going to go. Good God, it's half an hour already. I thought it was going to be longer than that, but anyway, I managed it. But I shan't hold you for a while. Lenny's only on his second day. He's reporting good results. I've told him he's going to do it for a fortnight, right? And then we'll go from there. Okay, now, however you got it, so be it. God bless you all. Stay safe, right? You're the person to look after yourself, nobody else. Bye-bye.